From the pages of MikeHuckabee.com, where you can read all my columns and have them delivered right to your email inbox twice a day, all absolutely free, let's take a little look back at another week that was. This week, I was reminded of a line from Lewis Carroll's Through the Looking Glass, the line about believing 6 impossible things before breakfast. And just like the mad Red Queen, to be a Democrat in 2020, you too have to believe some impossible things, like a human baby in the womb is just a clump of cells, or that viruses spread like wildfire at a church service, but not at crowded protests for left-wing causes. Or how about that defunding the police would make us safer? I could go on forever, but I stopped at 20. And you can head on over to MikeHuckabee.com to read the rest of them. Speaking of defunding the police, the far-left talking point that's turned mainstream Democrat Party platform, just how many average Americans actually want to do that? Turns out, according to a new survey conducted by Heritage Action for America, less than 16% think that's a good idea. And I really worry about those. And by 49 versus 42%, more Americans believe Black Lives Matter protests have stopped being about racial injustice and have become violent riots by people who just hate America and want to tear down our government and radically change American culture. If Democrats are surprised Americans feel this way about them, just wait for their surprise in November. And now from the Twitterverse, where you can follow me at GovMikeHuckabee, comes a cornucopia of stories, ridiculous and sublime. So let's get started. An image appeared online showing Goodyear Tire's PC, that's politically correct training that includes acknowledging Black Lives Matter as a worthy effort and declining to endorse the police and Blue Lives Matter. Maybe it's time we all retire with something other than Goodyear, since they have more respect for a Marxist anti-family group than they do for cops and our president. And in news to make your head spin, after New York Governor Cuomo made up his own facts from fictions at the DNC convention, we learned that he is writing a book about leadership during the China virus. Now, after his nursing home tragedy, it's a little like Harvey Weinstein writing a book called How to Treat a Lady. And we wouldn't get away without a few shames and shout-outs. Shame on politicians and citizens who lost their collective mind over the president stealing mailboxes off America's streets in order to foil mail-in voting. A particular tweet from Portland set the internet wildfire when a USPS spokesperson told a Portland News reporter that 4 mailboxes had been removed from Portland streets, and they had another mailbox next to the one removed. So other than the mailboxes that Trump knocked over with a baseball bat, it's a Babylon Bee joke, folks. You can still use your mailbox. So stop all the screaming on the internet. Stretch your legs. Take a walk to the mailbox in your community. And shame on the big 3 broadcast networks for burying President Trump in attacks throughout June and July while completely avoiding Joe Biden coverage like he was hiding in a basement. Well, that's right. He was hiding in a basement. A Media Research Council report showed that Trump received 7 times more coverage than Biden, which, by the way, was 95% negative, only 5% positive. And Joe Biden's occasional stories, 67% positive. Sounds like the DNC has hired ABC, NBC, and CBS to be Joe Biden's live campaign commercial. And now for some shout-outs. A shout-out to the American people for their kind-hearted help. Lending Tree reported 34% of people they surveyed are donating more than once within the last year. And 30% of consumers polled continue to pay for services that they can't use during the pandemic, like housekeeping and babysitting. Bravo to each and every one of you for lending a hand to your friends and neighbors. And how about a big shout out to police officer Erica Urea in Lodi, California. She pulled a man from a wheelchair that was stuck on railroad tracks in her town, and this happened just seconds before impact in a very dramatic rescue. Her police body camera shows the dramatic scene and how she was able to save the 66-year-old man who was trapped. Eyewitness Michael Bender stated on Facebook, quote, She is awesome and deserves a huge hero's thank you from her entire community, end quote. So here's to Officer Erica. I hope she never gets defunded. And a delicious shout out to Freddie and Lisa Thomas McMillan, the founders of Drexel and Honeybees, a black-owned family-style restaurant in Brewton, Alabama. They've been serving meals with no prices. That's right, no prices. The donation-only restaurant does not use cash registers and feeds everyone, including those who don't have anything to pay. You can leave a handful of coins, a larger donation, or just a thank you note. The owners then use 100% of the donations for the operational cost of feeding the hungry so they don't profit from it. For more information about Drexel and Honeybees and or to donate online, you can visit drexelandhoneybees.com. Well, before we wrap up, here's a bit of wisdom from an ancient Chinese proverb. It says, if you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. And if you want happiness for a lifetime, go help somebody. I hope this will maybe be taken to heart, and that the reward that comes from helping someone else will be yours without ever looking for anything in return. Until next time, these have been the facts of the matter. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.